I believe there is a counter. And if there is a counter, Trump has to be the quarterback. There's no way there's a counter and he's not involved in the counter. There's no way there's a counter and he's not involved in the counter. If he's not the counter, if Trump is not the counter, then we're fucked. We're going to China. We're going to be China.
Well, Eddie, let me give you the real 5D chess view on this.
But I'm not done yet. Can I finish?
Absolutely.
Okay, let me finish. So this is the conspiracy theory. The conspiracy theory is that there is a counter. And the counter, they got to be smart. They got to be dumb. If there's a counter, they're saying, this is the conspiracy theory, that the counter is, the conspiracy theory is that the counter knew the plan, the New World Order plan, which was to lock everybody down and keep everybody scared of this virus for 10 years, because it takes generally 10 years to produce a vaccine, if you believe that shit. So it takes 10 years. So the plan was drag them out, kill the economy. It takes about 10 years to just destroy the economy, just rip it to shreds. And then in 10 years, we'll have the vaccine passports, boom, social credit system, boom. They were going to drag it out for 10 years. So the counter is to fuck up their plans. And instead of waiting to release the vaccine for 10 years, let's just blast it out now, make a deal with Big Pharma. The conspiracy theory is that there was a deal made with Big Pharma to just blast it out, because you would think in 9 months or however long it took, like it would be a miracle, because they usually take 10 years. So that's a miracle. But 4 different vaccines, 4 miracles, 4 different companies came up with a vaccine. God damn, that's like what? 4 miracles? That's insane. So the plan, the conspiracy theory is that the counter was put it out, fuck them up. Let's put it out quick. Let's put it out and jam their plans, fuck up their whole vaccine passport plan, and kill it. There's going to be a lot of casualties. People are going to, he's like, the conspiracy theory is that Trump is like pretending to be pro-vaccine just to achieve the overall goal is to kill the vaccine passports. And look what happened. They instilled the vaccine passports and then they pulled the plug on them. How could they pull the plug on the vaccine passports? That's the goal. The goal was the vaccine passport. And then they could transition to fucking everything from the vaccine passport. Was the New World Order conspiracy theory. You talked about it many times. They finally got them in. They had vaccine passports everywhere. They had them in LA. I couldn't even go to the fucking mall. I went to my mall and they go, where's your papers? I'm like, what the fuck? I couldn't go to restaurants. I was going, I got to move out here. I was considering moving to Florida. I go, oh shit, no way are they going to take out the vaccine passports now. Dude, you couldn't go into a restaurant in downtown LA or anywhere in in the LA area without showing your fucking papers. This is my hometown. What the fuck? I went to Tampa, was looking at Florida. I'm like, there's no way they're going to go backwards. There's no way they're going to go backwards. This was the whole plan. They achieved it. They did it. And you know what? They pulled the plug worldwide on them.
Let's expand on that. I've actually really thought a lot about this, and I actually have the answers on this, Eddie.
Tell me, because why did they pull the vaccine? That was the whole plan. You guys pulled it. They're pulling it. I don't get it. I don't get why they would do that. But you know what? That means the conspiracy theory came true. Operation Warp Speed was a parody, like Warp Speed. Warp Speed is the last thing you'd want to call a vaccine operation. You don't want to call it Warp Speed. You want to call Operation Take Your Time. Let's do like 3 phases of trials, dog. That's what you call it. You don't call it Operation Warp Speed. Warp Speed? A vaccine, it's like something you inject. Fuck that. Operation Slow Down. Do some tests.
All right. So do you want me to give you the answer to this?
Yes.
All right. This is number one, the globalists aren't all powerful. They don't have all the answers. They're not in total control. That's why they're freaking out trying to bring in control, because they're losing control. So they're not omnipotent. They're not God. I don't think Trump's a bad person. He's very smart in many ways, did a lot of good things, delivered on most of what he said he would do. They were holding the country hostage, saying it'll take 5-10 years. But then the very people involved in making it bragged on C-SPAN in 2017, 18, and 19, talking about Peter Daszak, I'm talking about Fauci, Bill Gates. I can send you the clips, Eddie. Just like you have the clip of the CIA director admitting chemtrails on C-SPAN. And they said, we had a new virus out of China. We could get rid of the 5-10 years for development and approval. We could get it right through and blow up the old system and now be able to do all the gene therapy and genetic engineering we want on the public because this precedent will be set. And so they cook up the virus, they release it, they say, oh, it'll be 5-10 years. Then Trump has scientists come to him who are part of the group, go, sir, if you brush that aside, we can have this in 6 months, a year, and you can reopen that way. So Trump 100% went with that and believed in that because he wanted to get it going. But let me tell you how I know all this. There's a lot of pieces of data. If you go to a document from 2018 put on by the Rockefeller Foundation, John Hopkins, and others, it's called SPARS 2025-2028. And it's a war game set really in the year 2020, 2023. How they roll out the vaccine, the virus, how the vaccine makes people sicker with heart attacks, myocarditis, how it later comes out that the government and corporations are to blame, and how that discredits the nation states and collapses them, and then a world government comes in and takes over because all confidence in the government has been destroyed. So it's a breaking of the social contract because Klaus Schwab and people think we'll blame Trump or Bolsonaro or even people that are bad, like Merkel, when really they're being manipulated as well. So for me, that's the real 5D chess.
Yeah, I see that. That was actually something that I thought of as well. I thought either there is a counter to the New World Order and Trump is the quarterback, or that's just how you achieve the goal of destroying a society and destroying a system. One side, you got to give one side truth and dirt and truth.
And when you were saying about how they said the lockdown would never end, remember I told you it's never going to end, well, they're going to bring it back. Once we build such massive opposition and all these legislatures taking action, all these scientists coming out and Joe Rogan coming out, then they back off a little until our opposition goes away. And as soon as our opposition goes away, they're going to bring it right back. And that's their plan. And again, I go back to the SPARS document, Eddie. You know about Operation Northwoods. You know about drills on 9/11, of the exact targets being attacked at the exact same time. That way, the groups involved carrying out the attacks, if they got caught, they'd say, this is just a drill. So SPARS 2025-2028, you can read it, even has the tweets and the Facebook post word for word in the body of what they said in the real world, written 2 years before they did it. And even the head of the tweets and the names like COVID and things are all acronyms you can move. Every one of them, the slides, you can move the letters and make the current words they used. So they even have blueprints of the tweets they were supposed to put out, when they were supposed to do it. And General Flynn, former head of Defense Intelligence Agency, former national security advisor to Trump, one of the real founders, the original Q before it got taken over by infiltrators, he saw my analysis of SPARS. It's at band.video. Just type in SPARS band.video. Just type in SPARS 2023, 2025, or 2025, 2028. And you can see the whole thing right there where, Eddie, they even have the same, it's a huge document. On this day, we published this. On that day, we published that. And they followed it by the day. They just moved the years up. 2025, 2028 to 2020, 2023, and how they would do the whole thing. It's smoking gun battle plan. So when the Pentagon does a battle plan, they call it a war game. But really, it's a simulated attack on the enemy. And so that battle plan is a drill, but when you actually go to war, it's the battle command.
So basically what you're saying is the Great Reset will win.
No, I don't believe it's going to win, but they know human nature.
Why don't you think it'll win? I mean, you basically said that it's all about the Great Reset.
Well, they built into it our resistance and our awakening. But if we're awake to the whole paradigm and the whole program, it falls apart. And that's starting to happen. Trump's still doing a great job. DeSantis is doing a great job. Bolsonaro's doing a great job. Orban's doing a great job. The people are waking up more than ever and becoming aware of the whole game. And as soon as people are aware of the whole paradigm being a fraud, it's game over.
So you don't think so you don't think Trump, there's a 10% chance, 20% chance he's playing, good cop, bad cop, he's deep state?
Oh no, I don't think
No
Trump's
chance.
playing good. No.
And if someone said that to you, if I said, hey dude, he's just one of them, dude, they're all on the same team, you know what I mean, they're all the elite, Trump's just tricking you. There's a lot of dudes like that, a lot of red pill dudes like that. What do you say to them?
I say they're black pilled and don't have faith in anything. I would send Trump reports. I had some law firms write up reports for him on different issues about Obama set up stay behind networks, spies, and the government and stuff. And I would send him documents, and I would see him 2 days later have it in a speech. And I know that some of his speech writers that I know well and I'm friends with, literally, Trump's for real. He could be manipulated. He was still really smart. He was pro-America, very pragmatic, though. Really wanted peace with North Korea and China. Said why? He told Kim Jong Un, "Why are you running slave camps? You can have beautiful hotels and casinos up and down your coast." And he said, literally, UFC fights. Why do you do this? And he's like, "Well, China controls us." What Kim Jong Un told him. So Trump was very pragmatic. That's why they were so scared of him. They knew populism was coming, so that was their system of managing Trump as a war game. It's all scientific for them as a laboratory experiment. And so Trump was only seen as input. And when I said 5D chess, let me give you the real newsflash here, Eddie. The technocrats are mad scientists, alchemists that want to control reality, want to be God. They believe they're transcending humanity and creating this new silicon super sapien creature. But they believe to do that, they've got to enslave us and use us as guinea pigs to transcend. And so if you're a Joe Rogan or an Alex Jones or an Eddie Bravo or a Tucker Carlson, people that are good, trying to tell the truth, we don't have all the answers. The globalists are managing all these politicians, all these world leaders, most of which are compartmentalized and don't know what's going on. A very small percentage are actually read in on this. And so you see it as like a steering wheel or like a control panel on a 747. And so when the left gets too big or another organization gets too powerful, you build these groups up. Those are real groups wanting power and wanting their freedom or wanting what they want. And these are real groups that have their own ideologies, their own systems. But by giving it attention, by giving it funding, by that, they can then just use us all as levers. So you're seen as a button. I'm seen as a lever or a button. Joe Rogan's seen as a big lever. And if they can't control that lever, they'll try to attack it or go after it or build up some other levers. And so it's our job to realize we don't want to end up just being levers or buttons. Like they say in The Godfather, he says, I wished Michael, that you'd have grown up to actually be Senator Corleone or President Corleone, that we would be the ones to hold the strings. Here they are running the biggest crime family in the U.S., worth the equivalent of hundreds of billions of dollars. And here's Don Corleone saying to his son, which is based on real families that Mario Puzo wrote about. Those are real families, real people. The musical characters, Frank Sinatra, all of them. That's a real crime family. That's a real true story. But the movie's so powerful, it's just the names are changed. And he's saying, I wish we were the ones that pulled the strings, but maybe someday, maybe your son will pull the strings. And so those are powerful, rich people, but they still don't pull the strings. And see, as soon as we're aware of who pulls the strings and how they pull the strings, it's game over, because the puppet master can only operate in the dark. And that's why I'm exposing it. So you don't even go after what group or organization name they use, but it's the policies they use. And like, go back to James Bond movies and James Bond books. Ian Fleming was like number 3 in OSS, British intelligence, in World War II that created the CIA. And he didn't like a lot of stuff that was happening before he retired in the late 50s. So he wrote a bunch of James Bond books. And there's always a criminal multinational corporate group playing the Russians, the U.S., and the Chinese off against each other to bring in more power and control for them. And that's really how the real world works. That's why you go watch a James Bond movie and you're like, this looks like George Soros or somebody here. And that's because that's art imitating life.
Yeah. Yeah. Damn. Most political race or presidential races over the last 20 years, I didn't pay attention to really at all. I just thought in my late 20s, early 30s, mid 30s, late 30s, I was like Mitt Romney going against Obama or whatever, maybe John McCain against Obama. Like they were all clearly on the same team.
That was Hulk Hogan versus the Iron Sheik.
Totally. Fake boxing match. Someone said to me recently. Now, how does Trump? Was that an accident? Did he slip through the primaries? And did they plan? Like, what do you think happened there? Like, because generally they control both sides. So if Trump is legit, they didn't control him. So he came in without any puppet strings, right?
What we know, Eddie, is that empires rise and fall. There's a global bureaucracy that came out of Rome and then went to England and then was in Europe. And then, I mean, that's a historical record. And they use management techniques. So you get new managers and new manipulators and new controllers who kind of have the same mindset, but they're not even the same people. And so the documents have come out in federal court and in Congress. Anybody can look this up. And Hillary thought she could really beat Trump because of dirt in his closet and the fact that his wife had done lesbian porn scenes. And so Hillary, early in the primaries, controlled CNN and others, and this came out, and directed them to give Trump more coverage, plus they'd get ratings, because she thought she could bring all that out and burn him, and that Christian conservatives would turn against him when they brought out the porn stars. I told Roger Stone, and I told Trump, and I told them, this is during the campaign, this is never talked about this before, but I know for a fact Trump released to the New York Post the images of his wife in that hot lesbian scene, which who can blame her? And women love it. I mean, I'm not, So the whole point is, and I was there involved when they tried to have Pence stab him in the back a few months before the election, bringing out infidelity, all this stuff, and saying, hey, we didn't elect Trump because he's an angel. We know who he is. If you want somebody to overturn Roe v. Wade, he's the one. He'll do it. And he said that. He said, listen, I'm a man, and I have a good time. I never told you I was a Boy Scout. I'm going to do what you want. I'm going to deliver. And he did. Even when he was for the damn shot, he said, I'm going to get it done quick and unlock the economy. And it was a terrible shot, and it was a bad thing he did, but he was telling you straight. And so that's what really happened was there a group above Hillary that thought, no, Trump will really beat her? Hillary was arrogant and misjudged conservatives and misjudged Christians. We are sick of hypocrites. As long as Trump isn't raping kids and he does what he says he'll do and he'll have religious freedom and stand up for the unborn, Christians on average are really not hypocrites. They understand if somebody's being a straight shooter. And so that's what happened. And so Trump blew up in their face. They did not expect the landslide, and they've been crapping their britches ever since, because this global elite used to have its act together. They were evil, but they knew what they were doing, playing 5D chess. You look at who's running the show now. They are the children of the children of the children of the children of the really smart ones, and it's all disintegrating. The old system's going down. That's why they're bringing in the Great Reset as a cover for their failure and the cover for them losing control, so they can pose as the saviors with the collapse that they have basically accelerated, but that they didn't start. They're trying to come out on top after their collapse.
You think the Great Reset is going to get stomped or what?
The Great Reset will never go as far as Klaus Schwab and all them want. You'll eat bugs, you'll own nothing, you'll have nothing right away. They use a dialectic of, okay, we want to consolidate power, we want to euthanize some people, we want to bring in medical tyranny, we want to be able to do any experimental things we want to accelerate medicine for ourselves, use the public for guinea pigs. So you have Trump and the populace on one side, and then you've got the left and the others on the other side, and like out of that dialectic, we then get more powerful levers of control to do what they want when they want. It's all about developing the levers of control, not even about the plan, because they can change the plan. It's going towards a general direction, but they need steering power, and so that's what this is all about. Because
you could see it so clear. We never knew who, or the public never really knew who Klaus Schwab was, or the World Economic Forum. Nobody knew who George Soros was. They are so hot right now. George Soros and Klaus Schwab, man, everybody, they're household names now.
But again, they don't go further. Klaus Schwab was the former head of the Bilderberg Group. It's just the public arm of the Bilderberg Group that we exposed the film Endgame. But you're absolutely right. They're still just front people. But again, even though it's being exposed, It's coming out there's a ruling class. It's coming out that the big banks run your life. It's coming out they own your politicians, and they're just acclimating and normalizing everybody to it.
Yeah, that's another theory I've had too, because I know maybe when they.
But Eddie, let me stop you. I got to explain. So you're a smart guy. I mean, I admire you. They aren't God. Please let me tell you. They aren't
Can I
God.
write down what I was about to say? Hold on. Damn, I forgot. You made me fucking forget. What were we talking about? What were we just talking about? Alex, you fucking cut me off.
No, you cut me off.
I had some good shit. Dog. God damn it.
Next time, chuck me out.
What were we talking about?
Let me slow down here.
New World Order. Klaus Schwab. George Soros. Hold on.
How it's all coming out that they're running things. Now they're normalizing us knowing that there's a global elite that run things.
Damn, I forgot. Okay, go ahead. Say whatever you want.
No.
It'll pop up. Go ahead.
Let's do this.
When it pops up, I'm going to interrupt you.
It's fine.
So don't forget.
Well, I forgot what I was going to say now. Let's take a
Klaus Schwab,
break.
We're talking about Klaus Schwab. Okay, hold on. World Economic Forum, Bilderberg Group.
The Bilderberg Group founded the World Economic Forum. Well, what I'm trying to explain to you is
people that never knew what Davos was. Davos is like popular now. It's trending. You know, it's no. Now I remember. Okay, let me finish. Now I remember. Maybe like people like they don't know. They don't have the answers to the insanity. Everything is so insane, and it's so obviously fucked up. And that's one thing I think of is in third world countries, like all the countries south of San Diego, all the cops are all corrupt, 100%. It's so corrupt. Everything's so when the cops are 100% corrupt, your country's fucked. Because that's the bottom. Boom. Everything over them has to be corrupt for the cops to be corrupt. So you have no shot. There's no justice. There's no justice in the third world countries. That shit don't exist. And you know what they probably realized is damn, it's way easier to control the masses when they already know that they live in a country where there's no justice. So you got to get them used to no justice, no justice, no justice. So then after a while, you know, like in Russia, if you talk some shit against the narrative online, on social media, you get disappeared. Today, you get disappeared. Today, I have a lot of Russian students. You get disappeared today. And nobody is going to say what? No one's going to fight for your rights. No one's going to fucking hold up signs for you. You know what? They're all going to say, God damn, he fucked up. We told him to shut the fuck up, but he wouldn't listen. God damn it. And everyone would keep their mouth fucking shut. I think they realize they got to know this, that it's way easier to control the masses when you just take justice out of the fucking equation. It's like, you know what we're saying is propaganda. Like in Russia, they know it's propaganda, but the government knows that they know it's propaganda, and it's all agreed upon. This is propaganda.
Yeah, I forget. This is a great point you made. So
right? So it's like maybe that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to get us used to shit that don't make sense. Injustice. Damn, my light turned off. Damn. The studio sucks.
Let me elaborate on this. What you're saying is absolutely central.
Did I make sense? Was I making sense?
It doesn't make sense. It's true. So it's just let me elaborate on this since you bring it up. Back in 2002, a couple thousand pages of documents got leaked to the BBC's Greg Palast back when they still did some good work. And the documents were real. The IMF admitted they were real. Even some of the folks that leaked them ended up dying, kind of like the Panama Papers lady. Her car got blown up a few years ago. So they didn't deny these were real. They had a 100-point plan. And towards the end, it was, we discredit the governments, we create corruption, we make people hopeless, then we make everybody hate the government, it collapses, then everybody's permanently poor, and that's how we use them to control them. And then they went on to say, like we've done in Africa and Latin America and the Middle East. And they went on to say, it's in my book, Descent into Tyranny. It was so important, I created a transcript, a part of the interview with Greg Palast, and it went viral all over the world. And I put it in my book that's free online, 9/11 Descent into Tyranny. It's one of the last chapters. And in there, they describe how they demoralize the public and make them give up because they know there's no justice, and they flaunt it in their face. And then they go in, once they get a socialist or communist or fascist government, any authoritarian works, they put permanently corrupt police in that are now commissars, not officers that enforce the law, not officers that change tires, not officers that respond to burglaries, but officers that enforce the will of the system, and it becomes a mafia. And that's why the police have got problems. They're not perfect. But in America, we know statistically they're way better than like North Korea or, like you said, Venezuela or China and
Mexico.
Or Mexico.
Yeah.
And then once they've done that, once they've carried that out, they go, oh, the police are murdering George Floyd. Oh, the police are bad. We want to defund them. But you look at the real plans of George Soros, who's bought off over 1,000 DAs, more than 20 of the state attorneys, the state attorney generals. They don't want to get rid of the police. They want to take them over and make it just like Mexico. And that's right. The final thing to fall is when they get your police. Are our police perfect? No, but there's thousands of jurisdictions, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of counties, 50 states, thousands of cities and towns, and they're diverse. And everybody knows, don't go to that town, the cops are corrupt. Hey, the cops are good in this town. And so there's diversity in our federalist system, which you talk about the good Illuminati versus the bad Illuminati. Our founders, three branches of government, federal and state, 3 branches per, the fifth estate, all to divide power as firewalls for one group taking over. And so what you're saying is absolutely central. This whole process of take over the police, defund the police, all of that is the classic communist, big bank, IMF, World Bank, Venezuelan model. You take Hugo Chavez. He had the biggest IMF, World Bank loans in Latin America. He had giant palaces, in Switzerland, you name it. All this stuff, and his people were starving to death. He did that under IMF, World Bank orders. He had more oil per capita than Saudi Arabia and the U.S., the richest country in Latin America. They had a higher standard of living than us in the 60s. And he came in the 90s and 80s and took that thing over with the communists and ran it in the ground by design, where they can't even drive cars on average there because there's no gas, as a tool of control. And the system you're describing, Eddie Bravo, is called feudalism. It's the most ancient form of government in world history, and it's where you keep everybody else poor to control them. You have a tiny 1/10 of 1% that have all the wealth. And that is a model of control, and that's what you described: institutional corruption and no justice.
There's so many insane, retarded things going on just all over the goddamn place. It's over and over. Biden, have you heard of that crazy conspiracy theory, devolution?
Tell me what devolution. Devolution means things collapsing.
I don't know that much about it, but there's a conspiracy theory called devolution. Like, if the counter is real, then the counter must know. If the counter was smart, the counter must know that the masses, a large percentage of them, are under mass hypnosis. If the counter is real, there's no way the counter is going to not deal with that issue. That's a very important issue, because when me and you both know, a large percentage of the population is under mass hypnosis. Agree?
Absolutely. They're delusional.
They're in a trance.
They are medically, when they do brain scans now because of TV, short attention spans, the average person is in a near dreamlike state.
So if you were part of the counter and you were in the brainstorming meeting, how would you, what would you recommend we do to wake up these people that are in a trance? Would showing, just put it all in one DVD, put all the facts, New World Order facts in one DVD, release it, and is that going to work?
I think the answer is what you see.
Is that going to work? Hold on. Is that going to work? Why is it going to work? Why is it going to work?
Well, let me tell you.
But don't change the subject. Let's stick with this. Why wouldn't that work? You're part of the brainstorming counter, right? Boom. Trump's in there. How are we going to do this? Do you just release all the evidence of all the corruption with all these politicians, and then hope that indictments follow, and then hope they get arrested? Do you do it that way, all in one day? Or do you realize, you acknowledge that a large percentage of the population is in a trance? So how do we wake these people up? Man, one of the answers might be we got to hit them over and over and over, and we got to hit them like 37 times. That's what we found out in the MK Ultra experiments. To snap them out of it, you need to hit them like in the 30s. You need 30 of them, and then they wake up. So that's what devolution is, the counter, part of the counter. An unbrainwashing, a deprogramming, which takes years to understand.
Well, that's a massive, that again, you just said it. You were saying one DVD and one film, and I said, no, that'll work on a certain percentage of people.
Small
but it is if different people are different, so it takes a lot of different approaches. That's why we've got diversity.
But the people that are in a trance, that's not going to do it. They're not even going to see it. Right?
Let me tell you
how do we do it? How do we wake up people that are in a trance? Damn, you can't just show them a piece of paper with all the evidence or a video with all the evidence. They're in a trance. They're not going to see it.
Well, it's more than a trance. They're demoralized, or they don't even believe in themselves, so they don't want to learn anything new that's threatening to them because they see work or something scary.
How do you wake them up? I agree with you. I agree with all of that. The question is, how do you wake someone up like that? So devolution is the conspiracy theory where it's going to take a few years. So all this dumb shit that Biden's doing is part of devolution. It's just the dumbest shit after the dumbest shit. We're trying to wake 3 people up a day. 3 people a day wake up. 3 people, you dumb shit. We need more dumb shit. We need more dumb shit.
Let me describe this.
We need more dumb shit. You need 37 events to wake these people up. Some people think that's what we're in the middle of. We're actually in the middle of the counter, trying to deprogram.
Well, let me try to give you my take on this. It's just like earlier when you said, is it this group, is it that group? It's a bunch of different think tanks and globalist organizations that come together and agree on shared goals, but are also in competition with each other. And so humans are so diverse. There's not one way to wake up people or another way. One way works on somebody, another way works on somebody else.
Which one way that would work against the people that are in a trance? One way, one strategy. Just like off the top of your head, how are we going to deal? If we don't wake up the people that are in a trance, this will never work.
I don't just have off my head. I mean, I know how to do it.
Okay, but it's going to, you know how to do it? How do you do it? The masses. How do you do it? With the masses, knowing that the mainstream media is going to do everything to squash it, that like the truth and the counter, the mainstream media are going to squash it. Social media is going to squash it. Big tech is going to squash it. So knowing that, how the hell do you do it?
Okay, there's no magic bullet. There's no silver bullet here. I'm talking about people, a large part of the population, not the majority, but a large minority, 35% of folks, there's big studies out, are in a daydreaming state. And that's why they don't look really healthy, even if they're physically healthy. Their eyes look glazed. You can't really get through to them. They just seem like they're in a far off place. They're in a daydream. And how does a teacher, when you're drooling, staring out the window, get you out of your daydream? They get your attention. I haven't daydreamed in a long time, since I was probably like 12 years old. But I remember looking out the school window, drooling.
How old were you?
Probably 12. And the teacher going, "Hey, Alex, hey, we're about to take a test. Earth to Alex." And everybody, look at Alex. He's over here. And a little bit of ridicule actually got me awake. And I'm not saying ridicule is the answer. My point is they artificially do that feedback loop. And so just like in the Matrix, when Morpheus says, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more. You take the blue pill, you go back to fantasy land. You take the red pill, I take you down the rabbit hole, show you how far it goes. All I'm offering is the truth. And so there are, and I don't even do this myself, because the media is running hypnotic stuff to keep you in the trance. But telling people, even when they're in a trance, it's like in a dream, you're in a trance. You're not living your own life. You're being programmed. I want to see you empowered. I'm not telling you what to think. You're already being told what to think. You're being controlled. They want to hurt you. Your destiny is something bigger. You're important. You'll be empowered when you start subconsciously thinking about where you are so you can get out of this prison. I believe in you. You're going to do it. And if you can get to somebody while they're in a trance, they will begin to work on that and build out of it and get out of it, except They then put in right wing and left wing pre-programmed hot button issues like Roe v. Wade, which is a real issue, but they use as an anger issue to make you only about the surface anger and not about how it's a larger stimuli. Does that make sense?
How long is that plan going to take?
If people
I'm talking about
implement
a
it-
plan with time. Obviously, when someone's in a trance, time is very important. How long is this going to take? How long would it take? How long would it take?
It's going to vary on how many. I mean, you could deprogram somebody. I have a family member that is very crazed and programmed by Roe v. Wade, thinking it's a right and they shouldn't take it from women, and it makes them angry. And I've been able to talk to them and explain, don't be emotional. They're using this as a control system. Just listen to NPR, watch CNN and right-wing media and see how the left is telling you your right's totally gone, blah, blah, blah. Don't debate why they're doing it. It's really about depopulation. But just realize, and they came back in the other, they said, I heard NPR and they were telling me it's totally banned and trying to make me mad. You're right. I never saw it like that. And now suddenly the person is off and running getting it. So it's almost like you just show them how the scam works instead of trying to make them see the scam. Say, hey, there's a puzzle here. Subconscious mind, look at it. Where are you? Who are you really? Come out of your trance.